I have a buddy out there. And he's thinking about where he wants to go. He just ran across the thing. Now he's going to drop down. All right. So anyway, we're playing 1883, and where are we? Other than tired as hell and struggling mightily with the components. One thing that I really feel like it needs to exist is this, the T location connections. I don't have another copy other than in the rule book of it. It could be written in the various locations they go to. It could tell you what city goes, what city connects up with the T. Otherwise, I just have to keep paging through this, but I'm finding myself paging through the rules constantly. Where have we gotten? Well, we got through the first couple operating rounds of the game. We're on the stock round. We're in the second phase of the game, where green track is starting to show up. We got a couple here. And we got somebody bought a concession. Other people are contemplating that idea. What we're seeing is that the payouts are so low that stock value isn't going up. There was this railway strike, which kind of screwed us up. Everybody just took half money instead of playing political support to avoid it. At $10 a political support, well, these guys didn't pay 10. If they got rid of theirs, they would only be paying 5. But whatever. The political support just didn't seem worth it at this stage in the game. The earnings are just too low. We had one swallow over here. His intention is to work on this concession, which I don't know how long that lasts for. That is the 8th one. Whoa, that one has 5 turns to hook up. Whereas, okay, the really big one has 6 turns, this big green thing that looks hard. What else is 6? 4, the pink. Pink looks difficult to do, but nowhere near as hard as the green one. The green one's running through all this mountain shit that is just like gonna be a bitch to build through. And the red one is only a 2-turn, but has to go into some mountains, not very far. I mean, that's a really easy little run. However, at 2 turns, that's particularly painful compared, like there's nothing else, there's no 3-turn ones. It goes from 2 to 4. Anyway, we got people beginning to operate their various companies at low income. The only one that's made any money is this one, and it made it despite the railway strike because he was able to hook up Reggio and run double trains on it and actually get a decent amount of cash. Plus, his stock value had, started out lower than everyone else's. The SV did a swallow, which is why it's behind there. And we're going to be on priority over here with him with enough money to buy a share of something. Others have enough money to buy a share of this company. Not all others. 50, 60, 70. Its par value is 85. So he can buy a share. I don't think anyone else can. So that's that. All right. Well, we'll see where we're at and keep going, but yeah. here we are in what amounts to the third stock round, I guess. It's probably coming on midnight. I don't know for sure. I got about 3 hours of sleep. Late. In I don't know what. I guess after the 5 p.m. raid switch, and then yeah, which might be good. This might work out so that I get some sleep, say in the early morning, like not the early morning that most people think of, like 2 in the morning or so. Nah, more like 5 or 6. Get enough sleep that I can still operate and do my shopping. I kind of have to, so. Because it's going to rain after tomorrow. All right, and we're on the stock round. Priority, I got to remember, you don't just buy stocks in this game. There are a whole bunch of other things that are up for sale. Notably, the concessions. So, I'm going to look at each company and think about whether or not it can get a concession. So we got this Brown company here. Again, I don't think that there's one that's reasonably available to me here. Not yet. So I don't want to buy it. Although if I start to hook it up, any other company could grab it. That's kind of the problem. Like if you start building towards a concession ahead of time, anyone else in the area can grab it. Is there a reason I want a second company? I feel like the companies don't make a hell of a lot of money, and pushing out another company when I have one that has two trains and not a whole hell of a lot else doesn't seem like a great idea. I'm making decent money off my company. I think I want to buy, especially at par 85, a share of this. Do I have the right thing here? I can't sell this, can't sell this. Yeah. So that's the one reason I might want to start a company. I might want to start this sucker to make my share worth more. But I don't have the money to do so. I'd have to dump this company. So yeah, I think I'll invest in my own company. Normally, in an 18xx game that's not, one of the decent starter games or whatever, I don't go into a hell of a lot of the decision making at this point in the game, but there's so much busyness going on in this one that I feel like I do have to dig in more. I have to think harder, so I feel like, yeah, maybe other people will have to too. Okay. So what about this guy? He's got 2 shares of the SV. It's not a huge money maker. There are additional trains available for me. But what is my situation? My situation is I have an extra share in terms of this green thing. How is that green thing going? That green thing's going gangbusters. Don't really want to sell that if I can help it. But I have, an extra share of this if I had a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money though. I have 50, 70 bucks. 70 bucks isn't going to do anything, especially since everything's at par right now out of there. So, gosh, do I just pass? Do I consider buying another political support? Well, let's think about concessions. I think I'm not far from concession. This one I'm not far from at all. So, what's the purple concession? That is number 8. That only costs 10 bucks and it gives a 5-turn commitment. Yeah, we're going for it. So I grab 10 bucks, pay that. It said 5-turn. That's out here. I get that. I think connections is what they mean by concession, or concessions is what they mean by connections there. And I have taken my action. Of course, I could sell stocks, but that puts me over to the green company. Again, not a hell of a lot of money. What can I invest in? I got 75, 85, 90. That is enough that I could buy a brown share. And that seems like a pretty good deal. But let's think about concessions again. What do we have? We have... Haven't I just looked at this? We have a possibility at this green line here. Anything else looks pretty iffy to me. So yeah, I'll just buy that share. This guy, president of the FSF, he might... He's kind of regretting not having bought this. Once the 3 train was out, which I think was early enough that I would have been able to go. I'm not sure. Who bought the first 3? Green did. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't have gotten a chance to. I could have bought it at 40, but I don't have a hell of a lot of cash on here, but a little bit of extra would allow me to put another infusion of $100 into this company. Let me buy a train a little early before I hook up that connection. But that concession will be hooked up next turn. So, hey, I think I get the money early enough anyway. Unfortunately for me, I only have $70, which is not enough to do shit with. I could buy a political support. They're like $10 each. I think maybe it's a useful thing to pick up at this point. You don't want to buy too many of them. They just get too expensive. Like they're not of any value in terms of scoring. That brings me back around. This looks like a pass here. I don't have the cash. I didn't want a concession. Although there is this blue one here, which is relatively easy. How much is that? Maybe we want that. That's going to be number 7. That's $10 would give me 4 turns to build it up. This would be 1, 2. I can't quite do it. I can't quite do it because those are operating rounds. So being able to lay 1 track each time, it's just not going to hook me up in time. Okay. And so I don't want to pick that up. So yeah, I'll pass. We come down here. I have $70. That's a lot of money. But not enough to do much with. Now, conceivably sell one of these green shares. Green's a good company. Kind of don't want to do it, but let's say I sold it for 90. That would give me 165. I would be able to float my company, the blue one, which I don't know where it fucking starts. Down here. Ooh. It's in a good position to run the red, as is this. But I have 20% of this, which could disappear relatively quickly. Nobody's got cash. The real question is, am I going to make more money off my share of this or off a couple of shares of a new company? I think it's pretty clear I'll make more money off my 1 share. I'll have more to invest. I'll pass. Coming here, he's already fixed. He doesn't have money even for a political support. He passes. I don't want to buy a 3rd political support. We'll pass. That puts priority over there. And that puts us at 2 operating rounds per. I'll hand out the money from the privates, and then we'll get to that big purple company. Not yet. We got an event. It is funny, handing out the privates, you know, they don't produce a whole shit ton of money. The biggest one produces 15, or the biggest two. Which isn't bad. There's a couple of 10s and a 5. They're not producing huge income on what they are. It's okay. It's about the same level. You know, if you look at the best of them, they're about the same as, say, in 1830. But then, you know, the corporations also aren't making a lot of money. They're not making a lot of cash that gets distributed, and they're not making a lot of money on stock value, which is all very interesting. And why is my stock value here up so high? Have I actually been making that much? I don't know. I don't know. I'm worried. All right, let's check the event first. A strike breaker. No general strike during the next operating round. Keep this on the map until the next. Okay. I don't know how many general strikes there are in the deck, but yeah, you know. That creates kind of a permission not to buy political support no matter what, right? If there are more strikes. So that's going to put me up here. And what the hell can he do? Well, he's allowed to upgrade to green in a couple of places, which should increase his valuation quite a bit. Let me see what I'm running. I'm running a 2 and a 3 and 2 2Gs. I am not allowed to upgrade a yellow in the mountains as a free move. So there is a reason to build an upgrade that goes into the hills and mountains. Now, there are plenty of options, so that's not really an issue. But let's see, my 2 and my 3, well, this is a really good run. That's a 2 city. This is probably a pretty good run. But then I have one more location I have to get to. Now I could do dut. It's so weird skipping stuff over, not worrying about dots, anything. It's just fucking weird. If I do that, then I could run another one here. Does that make a difference? I think it works out about the same. Out of here, I don't have anything terribly interesting that I hook. I could connect these. This would go up to like, you know, a 30. Okay, so I'm going to upgrade these two, and then I'm going to build a yellow into one of the mountainous terrain. All right, this track opened up an interesting thing, a path into Modena, which is better than anything else I have. Did I want to upgrade this then? I actually don't think I want to upgrade this. I don't know, I'm probably hitting that with my mountain stuff. Do I care? You know, I do care about Modena though. Let's get rid of this. Fuck that. There aren't options on these, and let me upgrade Modena instead, which is also free. This is my mountain build out of here. I do this instead. That's, you know, maybe hooking me up towards getting there, but I don't know. So now I am running a 1, 2 on the red line, which run, well, I gotta worry about these stupid little doinkers. But I'm running a 2 there, and I guess a 3 down here, hitting Modena over here. That means I have 2 2Gs. One of them can schlup down this way, and one of them can schlup down this way. I'm hitting this twice. It would seem like I'd be caring about that. But you know, we're sharing this company. Unless I'm going to cash it in with, you know, corruption or whatever, it doesn't really make much sense. Whereas this is helping my company with an upgrade that I can then like build off of and get some additional good stuff. So that sounds pretty good. I do have to worry about the 2Gs though. This one is running at 30. It does not produce money. And this one's running at 40. It does produce money. So that starts me at 20, 60, 110. $150, $190, 240. That will indeed push this forward, and I have to pay it out unless I want that 240 bucks in my pocket. I mean, that's a lot of money early on, isn't it? And not only do I get the 240, but I get like money from that too. I get another like 63 bucks or 62 bucks, 63 bucks in cash as my compensation package for having failed to manage the company well. Oh, if this was the second operating round, I would definitely want to do it. Yeah, I think this is the big money. I think I'm going to drown it here. And so I said I get 240 plus another 63, something like $303 cash in there for my certificate. So I came out like 340 bucks ahead for that share. Okay. Yeah, beyond what I would have made had I just let it run. I gave up $125 share, so I made like 220 bucks, right, off of getting rid of that at that point. And I've heard its value for anybody who comes later who wants to make the run. The 2 trains are going to disappear. It's going to make less money, I think, later. It's a shame, you know, maybe I could have set it up so that it did better, but that's fine. I'm basically exchanging my share for a couple of shares. Now, granted, I don't get this. I don't have an option to get that share back, you know, until it capitalizes. But yeah, I think I made about what I can off of it. I'm suspecting the next person to do it will also cash it in and drop the value even more, because it's reached sort of a tipping point where it's producing enough cash that it's like really a good deal to steal from it. That puts me over to this thing. Now, we have a concession we need to fulfill. We're allowed 2 track lays, and we're running a Mighty 2 train, and that is it. It's kind of funny, there's 2 sets of 3 trains. That's just weird. Like, they rust at different rates. That's the only difference. But this one costs less. It doesn't last as long, but it's the more familiar type. Well, I don't know about that. It dies with the 5 train. It dies earlier than you're used to. Like 3s are usually these really good, long-lasting things. Well, now it's only the later, more expensive 3s that do that. These earlier ones are just not as good. Weird. All right. Well, probably my best move is to upgrade this. I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm going to be running... This might be even more valuable because it'll hit twice. But I'm allowed 2 different track lays, so I can upgrade this and connect up my concession. I want to play my port, but I can't remember where the ports are. I want a reminder that next turn, if I want to put the port down, I put it down up here. So I'm putting it above the hex for now, just in order to like try to help remind me about that. I don't know if that's going to work. Yeah, and I need SZ as well. I think it was at the bottom. Ew! I think these are conjoined cities, though. I've succeeded in concession 2, which is running Ferrara, Bandero, which I guess is this thing, Suzzara, which is this, and then Parma. And that, we didn't get quite to the 3 bis, so it only gives me $200. I could have delayed and tried to get more cash from it, but I really need this money. That money is given as soon as I hook it up, and the concession goes away as soon as I hook it up. I don't have to wait, and what that means is I have enough cash for a train, and I do want to buy one, but I get to make my run first. I'm running a 2 train, this runs for only 50, that's all that this runs. This would run, you know, I am going to place this. This would run for 30 and 40 is 70. That's my best money that I can make off a deuce. That does not get me an increase. This looks like it's further right, but it's a lower value. So I guess I pay out 7 a share because I got enough money in my company now. Anybody else have this shit? Nope. So shitty to take $14, right? I could have just swallowed, man. Like, I'm just not making any cash off these things. I'm making what I do off of fucking private, off of a presidency. But I need to eke out every little bit that I fucking can, which just feels painful, to be honest. Puts me on the green one. No concessions, obviously. He is running a whole bunch of trains. Wowzer. Okay. So this is Modena. All right, we've got to look for the location here. So I can do 2 out of Modena. So 50, 100, 180, right? That's 2 of my trains. And then I have 1 more, which could run here. What am I trying to hook up? There's no way into here. Only the government can get you in there. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And that's true with all the higher valued. Well, no. These aren't that high. This is the highest valued one. And there's no other way to get in there. Very, very interesting. Okay. I don't know what I want to do track-wise. I guess I'll hook this up. Start working my way up there or something. This is interesting. So that total payout was 100, 180, 270. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. 270. A G train could work off here. I don't have a shit ton of money in here. I'm not going to make a hell of a lot off 27 a share, right? I'm going to make 60 something bucks. I've got enough money to buy that up or buy another company or something. I think I swallow in this case. The advancement is just too, this is under this, I have to try to remember that, is too low to make sense. So I think I swallow that 270. This game is giving me a really, really different, because of the low income and you know, especially the low stock improvement and everything, really, really different feelings as to what I want to do, which is kind of a bonus. Like, you don't want to be facing exactly the same kind of thought processes you do with every XX. Now, I've complained a little bit, like some of the more recent ones, although I liked it. I did complain a little bit about the, oh wow, that one really kind of blindsided me. I expected the minors to be worth having. The one where you could have too many minors. Again, I don't remember. I know it's one of the Scott Petersons I did. I don't remember if it was the New England or the Mexico. I think it was the Mexican one, the MX, or 1822 something or other. Yeah, it was an 1822 based one. Really, really weird feel to it. Okay, so after swallowing, we want to buy trains. What are we doing here? We're running a deuce, a deuce. Oh wait, I had a 3. What the hell? I could do more than this. So I was running a 2 and a 2. So 180. I made that 270. Let's make that 310. I pull another 40 in. All the more reason, you know, all this money that I'm making. What did I just do? 310. Oh, 40. I don't know why I put this here. This should be $50, I think. Okay. You know, that would have been a ton of money, and if I could jump up multiple stock values and everything, I think it would be worth it. I've just made this company much, much more valuable, and now I can buy more trains. Now, I don't need another 3 train right now. I could buy one, but for $40, I'm going to buy 2 of these. They're not going to last all that much longer, but they don't count against my train limit, and I'm able to run one downhill this way and one downhill this way, even though I use that track again. So that's all very intriguing. Fuck. Okay, I didn't cheat. This dropped from there. Now I go to, what is that, brown over here. Let me take a little pause so I can light a pipe and think about them. But interesting combination of things. First of all, sure, we're holding 40%. That's more than anybody's holding of anything. That's great. We have enough money to buy a train. Cool. But what train? And that's where it gets interesting. Or what trains. Right now I'm running a pair of deuces. One can run between here and Florence, which runs for 90. Another one could run down here for another 80, so I'm going to be making $170. I might be swallowing because I want to buy, well, if I buy a 3 train, right, I can run that boom, 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 and then my second deuce can run, I don't know, somewhere down here or something, you know. But I also, and I have the money for the 3 train, I have enough money to buy the 3 train and the remaining couple of 2Gs, which would allow me to run out of here just like he's going to. That's cool. But what I don't have is if I spend all that, I don't have $40 for a token here, and I do kind of want that. And that actually improves my next run quite a bit. I think that long-time purchase is worth it. Get a little bit more cash in here because I'm going to be heavy. The other option is, hey, I can wait and get the 3 bis and have a little bit more stability because I'm buying like the second to last 3 train. Is that wise? I think it is. I think early money is a good idea. So what did I say it was worth? 170? 100? No. 100 and, well, first of all, I buy my dot first. I must do that. So that's $40. And that improves my run immediately. And that's part of the issue here. That means that I will be running 100 from here to here, and then another 90 one way or another. Yeah, I'll be running for 190. If I swallow that, sorry about the movements, I just have a long reach that I gotta make. That means I spend 200 for one of these, a 3 train, and then another 40 for a pair of these, hoping that they, yeah, you know, there's some luck involved in it, but they could make me pretty good money for such a little investment. Leads me enough cash for the last of my tokens, which is potentially really valuable. I don't know for sure. I don't know. What is this? Something in automobiles. What the hell? I'm trying to remember who goes into the SEFTA. You think it's blue and green, these two, which is not necessarily appealing. I gotta look that up. I wish there was some kind of thing on the merger. You know, if I look, I wish there was something on the cards that were involved here. So like, maybe this would tell me. Oh wow, I got two of this one. I don't know if I have this after. There it is. I wish it told me what the connection was on there and on the companies that could make it, but they don't. So I'm looking at the SEFTA. Has special rules somewhere. This CCFR, that's the other one. That's the coaches. Merging in SEFTA, that's the FMMSF and FMV. This is the FMMSF, even though it's spelled differently. And the FMV is what? It's not this one. Is it the green? Oh, wait. This is the SFMMS. What's the FMV? The FMV is the blue, yeah. So it's the blue and the green. That's what I thought it was. And they combine to make kind of like, should make turquoise, damn it. Turquoise is actually the green. Like the shares for it are kind of turquoise colored. Weird. Okay. So yeah, they should really have the color coordination go with the counters a little better. So there is still a big question. He's not necessarily the president of that, right? He just has a share. Maybe I take all my money and I make this big thing all on my own. And the advantage of that is these are shitty companies, and I bet you I know why there's two of these. Yep. One of them has the extra token, one of them does not. This is the company that they decided to make a little bit stronger. They didn't make this one stronger, but they gave an extra token to this one in case you don't want to bury it in here, to make it a little bit more viable as an option. I'm not playing with that option. I don't know which way I like it better, because this one starts in a strong place. This one does not, and without that extra token, you know, kind of the best you can do is this little truncated run down here, which is the same as what the green has, to be honest. But you got to get lucky. You got to start early. And if you don't, well, but you strengthen the pair strategically by merging them. So, interesting. All right, where the hell am I? I just did the brown. That's going to put me on the last of the companies for this operating round, which is the SV, who took themselves a thingamabobber. They're not hooked up yet, but they want to go. Oh, this guy was like building for them. How interesting. I almost have that concession built. All I have to do is this track, and that concession comes through, because I'll go boink, boink, boink down here. The SV needs cash badly, so that's probably not a bad idea. I may be swallowing anyway. There's not a lot I can upgrade. All the upgrades are in place. I could upgrade this. Why bother? Like, that just makes my track more complicated. By the way, in this game, I've been playing a couple of games recently where these guys are all flexible. Like, if you don't have enough of them, that's fine. You can make new ones, whatever. This game follows more standard XX rules. No, you're limited by counter mix no matter what, which I prefer, to be honest. I think if you're out of sharp curves, you should have to try to upgrade just like you do with everything else. I can't, unless all track is infinite, I just don't buy it, right? Except for certain city upgrades that give you a bonus being the first person to upgrade a city or whatever. Okay, so now I'm running a pair of deuces here. What can I do? Well, before I run the pair of deuces, I now connect, which means that I get my monies, which is only $100. Not very good. Was hoping for more, but there goes another concession. Get these out of the way, get your cash for them. That leaves me with only $150. That's not a hell of a lot, but it's enough. Well, I had enough anyway, that I can buy myself a token, and I want the very vital token here. I consider Modena to be incredibly valuable. Now I can do my runs. And it's important because the concessions give you a means of getting cash into your pocket before you have to do your runs, so you can place a token. Usually you don't have a way of getting extra cash right at that point. So one of them is going to run here for 100, but what is the other one going to run? Well, this doesn't look terribly valuable, which means where's my number on this? It's hiding. I bumped things. Which means I can do 190 coming down there, and I think that's the best I can do. Do I want to pay that shit out? Why did he buy 2 mountain trains? He can't run them both. I mean, maybe I can. I think I bought an extra G train that I shouldn't have with that company. Well, yeah, that means I want. Nobody wants that wasted 2 train. Buying the last 3 train, how worth it is that? Because those go away, well, those go away in the 5 trains. There's 2, 3 bisses. These are cheaper. Oh, I don't know. I just don't know. It's kind of cool they go away with the 5 train, because that's always been one of the problems with the 3 trains in like 1830 and the games which follow its train pattern, which is that 3 trains are great, but they take up a slot and they prevent you from getting 2 5 trains, which is often a great deal. And you can almost always do it cash-wise if you engineer things right, but you end up, well, if you had the 3 train and all kind of other trains running and everything. Yeah, what did I say I'm at? 190. We don't have a lot of shares. We'll swallow. And that swallow, you know, I don't really believe too much in delaying trains, like in delaying purchasing a train, unless there's a really strong reason not to buy it. So I'm going to go with that one. That's going to drop us to another operating round. These guys flip over as the prices just continue to plummet. And I'm going to break for a little bit, but we are at, all right, where's my little round marker? We are at the beginning of the next round, and I got to remember the event deck, the event card before I do anything else. Oh, I'm noticing oops, which I am far too late to fix. This guy forgot to buy a train. He would have won at one of those threes, but hey, holding off might have done him something good. I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of shares. He has a shit ton of money. He was planning on buying a train with that money. He'll still do it, but now it's going to be the 3 BIS. Hey, but, you know, we get to look into, hey, what did that delay end up doing? Now, of course, I will not remember that I made that accidental choice. He wasn't going to have any mountain trains, so he didn't lose out on any of the Gs. This guy, he really should not have bought that second G. Yeah, I can only run one. Now, I could place a dot here. It's not a bad place for a dot. I could place a dot here. It's not a horrible place for a dot. I don't know where I would want my dots. Reggio is actually a pretty good place for one, so that way I can run Doom Doomp, which is what I was planning on, but, you know, I would have bought the dot before probably. I don't know. It doesn't hurt me, you know, if I do buy that dot. It does hurt me if I just wasted the 20 bucks, but then I took a G train away from someone else who maybe could make money off of it. This guy not buying a train, it's going to be an interesting choice. Because, yeah, he definitely could have used a 3 train. Oh well. I made myself a burger and watched some videos. But I come up here, and apparently somehow I had accidentally set YouTube on autoplay. And, you know, ads or whatever kind of play silently right now. I don't know what's wrong with my ad block, but I'm up here starting to get things set up, and I hear voices, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's just such an odd thing, and then I realize what it has to be, that it's not like other humans in my house. All right, let's hit this first. The event. Visit of the King. During this operating round, the values of external box of Bologna Florence is reduced by 10 lira. I'm going to put that here to remind me. That's going to hurt people. There's no way to avoid it or anything. And I hand out the privates and keep going. And, you know, again, we're moving more slowly than I would often in an XX, but I feel like there's more to explore here, and it's more unfamiliar in a lot of ways. Something else kind of interesting, which is that you might be able to sell privates into that thing. Now, you got to figure out a way to get money in there, but money's going to start accumulating. I don't think there's any restriction against that, and I don't see that as the kind of crime that, like, allowing your other companies to buy trains off them would be. And it's something that you do during their operating round, so it's quite interesting if that happens. All right, what are we doing here? No one has bought a 3 BIS yet, and that can't start it off. When it does, it probably triggers an extra one for it and whatever. But that's running the 3-2 and 2 Gs. Probably want to improve this. I want to get the best run I can to get the best opportunity to rape it. G trains failed. I have a total run of 250. Again, it feels like a good idea to take that cash. So that's 250 plus half of that makes it to 305, and I lose my share. This doesn't produce anything because I stole the money. Guess I'll keep my stock value. Okay, I'm only running an 80. Normally you would pay this out just to go forward, but that's not happening in this game. So it's kind of a harder call. Sorry. I'm not going to swallow. But I think that extra money will help me. Probably going to start another company or something. Don't know. Yeah. Kind of scared of that bus company because it takes a lot of capital but it doesn't have some of the same liabilities that other companies do. So yeah, it might be appealing. I'm running down this way in hopes of hooking up this way. Now I can't lay this track, but maybe something else will. you know, so I'm kind of like, okay, we'll see. And I can lay this piece of track because it's an F. But yeah, that kind of cuts me out. So like my goal is to hook up the concession, but it might be difficult to manage unless I have a company down there. And with me giving this thing up, I probably don't have that opportunity. I'm trying to see where the other companies are. Blue, red, that's it. Those are the only two that are capable of operating. Maybe I want, you know, maybe I want to build the. And here's the thing: if I start setting this sucker up, it'll probably get completed without anybody getting it later in the game. So it's like not going to be able to take advantage of that concession. I'm assuming it's hard to tell. I could curve up this way and then build my way in later, but if both companies fall, yeah, there's definitely an issue there. Okay, so I paid that in. This time we're going to buy a train. We can only buy one. That's all we got cash for. That gets us a 3 bis. Let's see what the state change for 3 bis is. And this may depend a little bit on where in the rules I look. Like the sequence of play here may be different from where it is somewhere else. That's one of the problematic things here, but whatever. Corporations can now float at 110. They would have been able to do that before. Nobody started one. Okay. Private companies, yeah, average value of the external boxes applied. So now we're going up to here, which is a big deal because, especially for this one, somebody's already hit that. But it does increase some values. Random events of the second deck will be drawn, and anchors are still worth something. But we have to look up the CCCF. And again, you know, the game needs more play aids. I know it's got a shit ton of them, or information on specific things. Like this company should contain, hey, when do things trigger? When do I get stuff? Or in the sequence of play, it should tell me, or something. It's just a poorly designed system. So what do we get here? So use a 3 from the bank after the first 4. Okay. So I do not get anything new with the 3 BIS. And there's only one 3 BIS left. But that gives these a little bit more life. It gives really what it does is it gives the other ones a little less life. I think these are still as iffy. Because how many 4s do we have? Normally be looking at 3 of them. We got an extra one. How many companies we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 7 companies. Yeah, I know, I missed a couple of them. This hasn't been formed and can't be formed without getting rid of a company. So you actually end up with less companies if you form that. And this doesn't deal in trains. So there's actually there's an extra 4 train in there from what I'm used to compared to, 1830 and games that kind of have that kind of packet of trains. So things might last a little longer. Of course, we have this thing which eats up trains at a higher rate. So that's a factor. We paid out, didn't move, and that moves us to, and I don't know which one, 80, 85. That'll move us to the green company. One of the big issues here is where is priority sitting? It's sitting over here. The reason is I thought about building some track to get down to this, because if I can get both those companies merging, it becomes a much easier process to make a decision on, and just feels better. However, as things stand, I don't know what the hell I want to do. I want to place a dot here. That's a good place to have one, and it will improve my income, letting me run the 2Gs. I'm having a real hard time deciding what my other upgrade is, or what my other track is going to be. I may build this anyway. Another option would be to build this. I don't know why, but it could be helpful. Eventually getting up here is more valuable. Of course, that is, I believe, no, we gotta find that, we gotta find the thing. We gotta find the chart we need. The one that I do not have anywhere else, which is where does Modena go to? Because it goes to 2. And it is indeed this one. And this is up to 60 now, so I'm going to be making better money. Train succeeded after I put the dot. Running that way and that way. That gets me to a 44 run. That's fucking huge. I have enough cash. Am I going to get another 44 run? Yeah, probably. Let me take this one out. See, I mean, the thing is, you know, I'm behind him if I swallow. So I might as well pay that money out. Let me just make sure nobody has this. Yeah, how about that? Interesting. Have I been paying out with other companies? I don't know. I think they've all been swallowing this round or last round. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna pay out the 44. Just get myself a little bit more cash in my pocket, but that gives everybody else more cash too. That 440 would be a huge, huge boost. But I can invest that extra 44 times 3, you know, that's another share. Now, this guy has the exact same run, so he too makes the 44 run. He also pays it out, because again, we want to have some cash. I'm kind of close to like, yeah, I'm not sure how much I can actually hold and run out. Unlike these two guys, I didn't get my big pile of cash from destroying the communal railway. I get it next time, but that's not terribly helpful. If I want it, my call. Remember, if you hold a share of this, you get a free share. But I don't remember when it turns over. I think it's unlike the 5 train, right? Is it the 4 or the 5? I don't remember. Again, lots of information, specific company. Should be sticking out somewhere. Here it is. How does it capitalize? First 5 train. That's a while from now. And in the other cases, I think you still get the presidency, unless it's frozen. You still get a free president's certificate, as far as I can tell. If only a player owns 10% of the stocks of it, its president exchanging his 10% stock with 20%. Otherwise, the CCFR president is chosen by the following priorities. And there's nowhere where it says you have to pay any money. So I assume it follows the same exchange rate. The only time you have to pay money is if it's frozen, I guess. So, you know, there's sort of a, can you engineer to get that extra 10%, or is it worth cashing in and getting the money? Maybe if you're the last guy, it's worth holding on to, but otherwise, it's going to be a lot of work to engineer it. But do you want to help hand that extra 10%? I don't know, maybe. Depends on how late it goes. Right now, the money's too good. So where are we? I just ran this and paid out. Now, one of the things I had to consider, and I couldn't make my mind up, is where do I fucking want this token? Right? can't get into here. I can't get into here. What's the best place I can get into? Maybe down here, which would be this token, but wow, there's a lot of yuck getting down there. Or into here, which is fairly easy, but I already make it there, essentially. I just, I don't need to do a lot to hook that up. Not really seeing a lot of places that are really valuable for this token. I'm going to hold it because I can't make my mind up. But, this is probably going to get filled in. So, okay. I don't have the desire for more trains, nor do I have the money at this point. I could actually buy, I think, a fourth train. I think the 3 bis still allows you to have 4 trains. But I'm fine right now. Work my way up. I would assume having 2 threes is still not a great idea, although it may be better here because of the way that they fracture off more quickly. But I needed the cash. Where does that put me? I think on the SV. No? Yeah. I don't know what he's doing. He could use a G train. But I managed to use that second one, so can't complain too much. There's a problem. I need this chart, but I also need to know what the fuck is under this tile. It's Perischio. Where the fuck does that go? That goes to Verona Brenner. As does maybe the other PC. What's the other PC? The other PC is Castellafaro, which I thought was a CC. There's too many special cities in this. Castellafranco goes to Bologna Florence, which is decent. So I can run directly from here to here. That's 2. If I got a dot down here, I could run from here to here as well, even though they're using the same track, essentially. They're jumping. What do I have? I have 3 trains. I could run this one. That would give me 2, and I'd have one more run that I could make. Even though this is gray, it's not enticing gray, so I could hit down there. So that's not bad. I'm set up, I think, to make a lot of runs. I've got a dot. Again, do I want to break in somewhere? Is there something I want to do with that? Why am I not using my home? Well, my home's not worth as much as other places. I do not know. I do not know. Oh, he has the capacity to exchange this for a share of SV. When can he do that? Sometimes he can do it at weird times. This is the $60 one. At any moment, oh, you know what's interesting? The anchors are assigned to a company, which is fine. I've only been using this for the FSF, but they are company dependent and kind of like closed ports in 1870. I think I can make the decision after he chooses to pay out or not, which might be worthwhile. So I can get 120 bucks for this, but my share of SV, if he pays out, is worth 85 plus whatever income it takes in. So that would be kind of cool. And if I can do it at any time, I think I can do it as kind of an interrupt as he's paying out. So I thought I had three rail lines there that I could do. I don't, not unless I play that dot. That's a $100 dot that I'd have to play there. So what else goes? Castelfranco, Reggio Emilia. Was this Castelfranco? It is not. This is Castelfranco. Okay. So I can run. Yeah, I don't want to build the track that I just built, which was down here. That is not the track I want. I want a track that comes down here, I think. Why? It's not optimal. Shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So, I get to make 2 runs out of Modena. Boom, boom. I could make another run out of Modena at 90. Actually, more than that, at 130, because this is open. But, and these guys are at 110 each because of the king. Castelfranco would be at 100 if I put the dot there. You know, if I want that dot that badly. The ports are up here. They're not really desirable to me. I mean, they become good locations in the long run, but I don't want to spend the money to get up there. Another option would be to go to this, which is the Pia something or another. Periceto, I think, which gets to Verona Brenner, which is not as appealing. That's going to be 80. But here's the thing. I have a 30 buck. I have a 3 train. So I can run the 2 trains out of here. Boink, boink. Okay, that's fine. The 3 train, this comes to 130. If I did something like this, it would be 30, 60. That would be another 110. But this is 130. 130 is bigger than 110. Yeah, I'm really not sure that there's anything that's advantageous to me right now to lay. I mean, this would be if I had the port, which I don't. But it also costs money. All right, I'll go back to what I was going to play because I have control over this right now. I can lay this track very easily, which would then allow me to make. Oh no, that's not a connection. Wonder why I'm going down there. All right, what company am I? Yeah, I'm trying to hook up the blue because I have a share of blue. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Sure. And then my runs end up as 110, 110. That's 220. 220, 350. 350. I'll pay out. I'm not thrilled by it because I'm low on treasury, but I think I'll get another run before the 4s come out. Kind of hard decisions I'm used to in XX is the, am I going to get the money off these trains or are they going to die and I needed the money, I needed to make the swallow. I want some cash to invest, especially if I'm going to start another company. So that puts me at the end of there, down to the stock round. You know what? I think that I'm in a position. I think I want to load this up. I know the videos are going slowly for this game. I'm going into way more detail than I usually do. A lot of that is whenever I have to look shit up, sure, I page through, but that means that it's not internalized. I don't just know everything. And I don't know how you're supposed to memorize this shit, as well as some of the other things, like when does the CCFR do X, Y, and Z, because it's got all kind of complicated rules. And there's too many things like that in this game. Like, I feel like these guys should have some kind of summary. And you can't really put it on the back because you need the mat to be able to see what you're doing. Can't remember what it's called. I think it starts with an M. Just manifest, maybe. That doesn't sound right either. I don't know. I don't remember what that. Anyway, there's a term that's common for it in XX parlance. But anyway, we'll be hitting into the stock round. Priorities over here. And yeah, there's people with money, with serious money, like money I'm not used to seeing at this stage. It's been hard to get money out of this game by running your companies and everything. But boy, that co-op company, that sure is a juicy target. Honestly, one which gave the advantage to the guy who bought the most stocks. I didn't realize how big a deal it would be to get an extra turn running it or whatever. And it really isn't, except that you have an earlier chance to make the cash in. And it just worked out really, really well. And I suspect it would often. I think there's a good reason to start yourself off with a lot of shares or something along those lines so that you get the first opportunity. Oh, is it the guy with the first opportunity who did it? I'm not sure it was. I don't know. I actually don't think it was. Yeah, this was the third round of play, I think. Yeah, so it made sense not to have a lot of stocks because that gave me the opportunity in this particular game, but I think quite often it's going to happen. It gave me the particular opportunity to cash it in when it was at its best. I don't think it's going to produce that heavily again because the 4 trains are going to come out and kill that deuce, and then the 5 train is going to come out and kill the 3 and stuff like that. While the 4 train, most importantly, the 4 train is going to kill those 2 Gs, and yeah, they're halved, but boy, I mean, what was I running for with them? Running 90 and 80, 170, 85 bucks, it rounds up. So that's an extra $9 a share. That's an extra 90 bucks in my pocket, right? That's an extra share that I get for those 2 guys. And then I've got pretty good runs off the others because, hey, they've got nice dots, man. They just do. Well, maybe they don't. I think I've been cheating. I've been playing them as if they had this dot. Oops. Yeah, because I ran the 3 train through here. I've been running that. Oh, there should have been a little bit less money off of them. Fuck. How much less? Made the Reggio run, that's a deuce. I made the 3 run here. And then I made, actually I was running, I think I was running these, but I could run the Reggio to here. I can run this, but what I could not run was this 110, and I couldn't have run it at any point. Ah, fuck. Yeah, I've screwed up, and badly so. And part of it is, this looks close to purple to me. I just have to admit that is some of the issue, the colors. So what would that have meant? Because I can't run this to any of those exits, which meant that I could run this, I could run that, and then instead of this, I don't know what this is, Chano. Yeah, that makes sense that it would be an EN. Okay, that does not have a T on it. Where would I get another run? And here's the thing, I was running the G out of here too. I was really running it like it was this company. Now, fuck. God damn it. I don't know how I can repair that. Let me think. I'm not even convinced I cheated. Because the thing is, the two companies that had the same runs were this and this, not that one. That only had a 3 and a 2. Okay. So the 2 could run here, the 3 runs into there, and then the 2 Gs, which I don't know if I ran. I think I ran them both here. One of them broke though. I think I may have done it right. I don't know. But the valuations have changed and everything. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I don't think it's a hell of a lot of difference in money. It may be a 10 or 20 buck difference if I like ran a G train successfully in the wrong place or something. But I may have actually run them both down here. That may have been more than this. Because I do not have a dot. So, and until this got upgraded, it wasn't particularly valuable, but I don't remember for sure. I don't think it's as huge a difference as I thought it, as I first was worried about there. All right, let's send this up. Getting confused though, but yeah, the two companies that were running that huge run were this one and that one, not that guy. And I may have cheated, but may not. So I had to go through the deck. There were a few cards that are deck 1 only. There's a somewhat larger pile of deck 3 only. But this is all the deck 2 plus the general cards reshuffled in. I don't know if I was supposed to reshuffle the General Strike and the King Visiting and stuff like that back in. I think I am. I don't think it makes a lot of difference in it. It's not worth looking up. I have to look up so damn much in this game, and I just am sick of doing that. And I had already started shuffling, so I'm like, screw it. All right, so yeah, up it goes, and we will be entering into the stock round, and I think we're going to start seeing a lot happen on this stock round because people have the monies to actually do stuff.